One of these women is the first woman in history to run a railroad. What is your name, please?
My name is Sarah Kidder.
My name is Sarah Kidder.
My name is Sarah Kidder.
Two of these women are imposters. Only one is the real Sarah Kidder and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now here is our host, Robert Trent.
Hello and welcome to Who is Sarah Kidder, where we take a look at women in history and ask our panelists to help us find out who is the real Sarah Kidder. Let's start by introducing our panel. First up, Michael Keene, DJ of a popular Hawaiian music show on KVMR. Aloha, Michael.
Aloha, Robert. It's nice to be here today. I think our women look very convincing as railroad presidents.
Next up is Wendy Willoughby, who is representing the high school board and is managing director of the Center for Nonprofit Leadership. Welcome, Wendy.
Hello.
Up next is Adam Klein. Adam's a local musician. You've probably seen him play around town or in the chambers at City Hall. Welcome, Councilmember Klein.
Profound joy to be here, Robert.
And finally, Kimberly Ewing, who took time off of acting and performing to be with us here today. Kimberly is also Program Director, Arts and School, Nevada County Arts Council. Welcome. Panelists, will you please follow along with this affidavit signed by Sarah Kidder? I, Sarah Kidder, was born Sarah Clark in Ohio in 1839 and was raised on a farm. I moved west to Oregon with my family, where I met and wed John Flint Kidder in 1874. John was active in railroad surveying and mining, which brought us to Nevada County, California, where John prospered in mining and railroad ventures, eventually running the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad. We were active citizens, known for entertaining and building a thriving community. Upon John's untimely death in 1901, he transferred his shares to me. I was quickly voted in as Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad's president, becoming the first woman to run a railroad. Signed, Sarah Kidder. Three women representing Sarah Kidder from the turn of the 19th century in Nevada County are here with us today. Are you ready to play the game, ladies? Panelists? Okay, Michael, could you ask your first question?
Thanks, Robert. My first question is for Sarah, number one. Why did your family move west to Oregon?
Land grants were being given out to farmers, and our family saw this as an opportunity to own our own land.
Sarah, number two. Were you a member of any social organizations of the day?
Indeed. I was a member of both Oddfellows and E. Clampus Vitus, very involved with orphans.
Did the Oddfellows allow women in those days?
Oh, goodness, no. Under their auspices, we women had our own organization, the Rebeccas.
Sarah, number three. What were your priorities in running the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad?
I wanted to run a safe, reliable railroad that would bring profits to my shareholders. I'm also very proud to say that although we transported $200 million worth of gold over our tracks from Nevada City to Colfax, we were never robbed.
Okay, great questions, Michael. Wendy, it's your turn.
All right. Sarah, number two. How did you learn to run a railroad?
It was so much a part of my husband's life that it just became part of mine through everyday living.
Sarah, number three. I understand your family lived in Indian territory. Can you describe the relations you had with tribal members?
We had very good relations with the local tribes. They pretty much stayed to themselves, and we stayed to ourselves.
Can you tell me which tribes?
There were many tribes, but it was mostly Seneca and Shawnee.
Okay. Sarah, number one. The years you ran the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad are now referred to as the 12 Golden Years. What years did you run the railroad?
From 1901 until its sale in 1913.
And what did you do after the sale?
I was able to retire to San Francisco.
Great, Wendy. Okay, Adam, it's your turn.
Sarah, number 3, can you tell me a little bit about how you met John Kidder?
John Kidder was a surveyor, and he was doing surveying close to my family home when we were living in Oregon. I call it a very happy coincidence.
Very good. Sarah, number 2, what improvements did you make to the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad?
I improved profits, actually, and schedules. I also took on building a bridge over the Bear River. It was quite a feat at its own time, and in fact, for years was one of the highest bridges in the region. It added to some of my gray hair, but it did improve safety.
Cool. Sarah, number 1, you were against women working outside the home. How then did you come to run a railroad?
Life sometimes chooses for us, which was in my case. With John's illness and his passing, I was the only one who really knew about running a railroad, and really the only one who cared, as it was my husband's life's work.
Thanks.
Great questions, Adam. Okay, Kimberly, it's your turn.
All right. Well, I'd like to know how Sarah, number 1, found working with the board of directors as a woman.
Well, the board all knew me, so it wasn't hard for them to treat me like they did my husband, John. And they also respected his dying wish for me to fill the position.
Sarah, number 3, I understand when you were ready to sell the railroad, you went to San Francisco. Can you tell us why?
Some of the people in the business thought that they knew better how to sell the business than I, but as president, I was privy to some confidential offers, and I understood perhaps more than they realized.
How did that work out?
I accepted an offer which was considerably higher than any of the other ones received.
Okay. And Sarah, number 2, I'm curious what you think your greatest accomplishment was with the railroad.
Certainly returning profits, our safety record, the bridge over the Bear River. Those are accomplishments. But I think my greatest accomplishment is honoring my husband in passing on a railroad that was in good condition.
Thank you.
Wow, those are some fantastic questions. And so now, panelists, it's up to you to prepare to get ready to vote who you think is the real Sarah Kidder. So if you could mark your ballots for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Okay, panelists, have you marked your ballots?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, Michael, who do you think is the real Sarah Kidder?
Well, I voted for number 1. There was just something about her that made me think that she could certainly hold her own at a railroad company of men.
Okay. Wendy?
Well, I thought that Sarah Kidder number 3 was pretty convincing, and I could see her being very businesslike and firm in her manners.
Okay. Adam, who gets your vote?
Yeah, they seemed like a whole bunch of Kidders, but I'm going to say Sarah Kidder number 2, I thought, was the most believable, and I like what she had to say about the bridge at Bear River, which was a great engineering feat at the time, Robert.
Okay, thank you, Adam. And Kimberly?
Well, I'm going with Wendy and choosing number 3 because she knew that a railroad president would have privileged information about prospective buyers, and I liked that she knew the tribes in Ohio.
Okay, so our panelists think the real Sarah Kidder is number 3. Let's see how right or wrong they are. Will the real Sarah Kidder please stand up? So most of our panelists were stumped. Okay. So let's meet the other imposters first before we talk to the real Sarah Kidder. Sarah Kidder, number 2. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'd be happy to, thank you. My name is Sands Hall. I live in Nevada City. I am an author and theater artist and musician. I also fight staunchly for the reputation of Mary Halleck Foote, which was damaged a little bit by the publication of Wallace Stegner's Angle of Repose. And I'm very proud that I volunteer for such organizations as KVMR and Hospitality House and especially Sierra Harvest.
Okay, Sarah, number 3, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Gladys McWood Birdsong. I'm a resident of downtown Nevada City. I've been involved in many nonprofit organizations, and I'm a board member of the Miners Foundry Cultural Center.
Now, Sarah, we'd like to show you where your name appears on historic markers. Thank you so much for all you've done for Nevada County and your role building the West.
Why, thank you. I never imagined this. I was simply doing what came to me, and I am grateful to see I may have made a difference to other women and our towns of the Sierra Nevada.
We want to thank our great panelists and guests, as well as our sponsors, California Humanities and the National Endowment of the Arts, as well as Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum, Nevada Union High School, and Nevada County Media for their support of this program. Special thanks also go to Ken Teichman of Solus Graphics, Sierra Stage, and Michael Keene for their set fabrication. Without all of you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you so much.
March is Women's History Month, and women's achievements expand what is possible for us all. Learn more about Sarah Kidder and women in history at the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum or at your local history library.